Do you really need to spend hundreds of dollars to get a quality Dutch oven? Or are the cheaper brands just as good? To answer these questions and find out which Dutch oven truly is the best, I tested 9 of the highest rated brands on the market. After cooking with them for months and comparing all the key specs, I put them through a series of controlled tests. I measured their durability by dropping a metal spatula from 12 inches high on the interior and exterior. I tested their heat retention by heating them to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and measuring the surface temperature after 5 minutes. I tested how well their lids lock in moisture by boiling 32 ounces of water for 10 minutes, letting it sit for 30 minutes, and recording the weight before and after. I tested how evenly their lids redistribute evaporated moisture back over the pot. And I even measured the temperature of the knobs to see which stayed the coolest after boiling water for 10 minutes. In this video, I break down each Dutch oven. I show you exactly how they performed, what they're best at, and where they fall short. You'll find out which premium brands live up to the hype, which budget options surprised me, and which ones aren't worth your money. The Tramontina 5.5 quart Dutch oven is the least expensive one I tested. The enamel didn't chip when I dropped a metal spatula on it, and the heavy lid was the 3rd best at locking in moisture. But that's where the positives end. This Dutch oven arrived with a chip on the rim of its lid, it had the worst heat retention score, the knob got hotter than all but one other brand, and the ridges under the lid that are supposed to redistribute moisture evenly over the pot don't really do anything. The performance is fine, and the price is fair, but the design is basic and the handles are too small to fit 4 fingers. Unless affordability is your top priority, this isn't the best option. Lodge has 2 enameled cast iron collections. One is called Essential Enamel, which is cheaper and made in China, and the other is called USA Enamel, which is more expensive and made in the USA. This is the 6 quart Dutch oven in the Essential Enamel collection. Besides the lower price at just around $80, this Dutch oven has large handles, a big lid knob, and a beautiful gradient exterior. It performed well in my heat retention test, and the knobs stayed cooler than most brands. On the negative side, this was the only Dutch oven that slightly chipped when I dropped the spatula on it. It left a mark on the others, but it made a tiny chip on this one. I also noticed some inconsistencies and imperfections in the enamel inside the lid. Another unique feature to consider is the shape. This Dutch oven is more rounded at the bottom with curved sides. Most Dutch ovens have flat bottoms and straighter sides. The rounder sides make it easier to get in the corners and stir, but the flat cooking surface is smaller, so you have less room to brown meats. One benefit I love about this Dutch oven and Lodge in general is that it's the only brand I tested that will replace or repair your Dutch oven for free if the enamel chips or cracks under normal use. Every other brand has a standard warranty covering defects in materials and craftsmanship, but those warranties don't cover any damage that occurs after you start cooking. This is not just a marketing tactic. Many customers have taken Lodge up on their guarantee, and they keep their promise. The Lodge USA Enamel 6 quart Dutch oven is more than twice as expensive as the Lodge Essential Enamel Dutch oven, but it's made in America and it has a unique retro look inspired by cars, guitars, and other mid-century American designs. Compared to the cheaper Lodge collection, this Dutch oven has even larger handles, a much wider cooking surface, and a slightly lighter interior color that makes it easier to see your food and make sure it isn't sticking or overcooking. It's also 1.5 pounds heavier, and instead of a rounded knob, it has a thin oval knob. This knob aligns with the retro design, but I prefer the rounded knob because there's more to grab, which makes it easier to lift and tilt the lid. This Dutch oven performed well in my cooking tests, average in my heat and moisture retention tests, and the enamel survived my durability test. The one feature that annoys me about this Dutch oven is the metal accents on the handles. They look nice, but they're not completely flush with the cast iron part of the handle, so food can get trapped and be a pain to clean. You can unscrew these metal pieces to clean them, but it's an extra unnecessary step. The Great Jones Dutch oven comes in one shape and size, oval and 6.75 quarts. This is the only Dutch oven I tested with a matte exterior finish instead of a shiny polished finish. It also has a gray interior, while the others are either white, sand, or black. They chose gray because it hides stains better than white, but allows you to monitor browning better than black. It's functional, but in my opinion, it looks a bit dull and ugly. Although this Dutch oven performed well in my tests, there are 2 things I don't like about it. First is the handle on the lid. Instead of a knob, it's a brass-colored metal handle shaped like an upside-down U. While it looks nice, it's not nearly as functional as a traditional circular knob. You can only fit 2 fingers, which makes it difficult to lift and control the heavy lid. Similarly, I'm not a fan of the looped side handles. Compared to the other Dutch ovens, the design is very basic and they're not long enough to comfortably fit 4 fingers. The made-in 5.5 quart Dutch oven is made in France and costs $250. On the positive side, the handles stick out further than any Dutch oven I tested, giving you plenty of room to grip. I also love the lid knob, which has the widest diameter of the group. The flat cooking surface is 9 inches, making it the largest of the several 5.5 and 6 quart Dutch ovens I tested. In my controlled experiments, Misen had the second best heat retention, the second best moisture retention, and the lowest knob temperature, and it didn't chip from my durability test. On top of that, it performs excellent in real-world testing. All that said, there are a few downsides. At 13.6 pounds, it's the heaviest 5.5 quart Dutch oven I tested. Another minor downside is that the top of the lid is completely smooth, which looks nice, but since there's no ridges or design, you can't rest a spoon without it sliding off. And finally, despite having self-basting dimples on the inside of the lid, moisture still collects around the edges and doesn't drip back over the pot evenly. The Misen 7 quart Dutch oven is $250 and there are 2 versions of it. There's a traditional Dutch oven with a standard lid, and there's this one that comes with a cast iron lid that you can flip and use on its own as a grill pan. If you go with the grill pan version, you also get a lightweight silicone lid. On the positive side, this Dutch oven has large handles with wide openings. The grill pan lid retained the most liquid of all 9 Dutch ovens I tested, and the ridges on the grill pan lid collect and redistribute moisture evenly over the pot. The downside of this brand is that when you use the grill pan lid, the entire Dutch oven weighs close to 17 pounds, which makes it the heaviest by far. Also, the grill pan doesn't have a knob, so it can be tricky to lift. Lastly, if you cook with the grill pan, the bottom will stain and discolor over time, just like any other pan. So if you don't scrub it thoroughly, those stains will be visible when you use it as a lid. Caraway is best known for its ceramic nonstick cookware, but they recently released an enameled cast iron collection that includes this $265 6.5 quart Dutch oven. It has a sleek modern design with smooth rounded side handles and a pill-shaped lid knob. It also has taller walls than the other brands I tested. This limits splatter, but the narrower design means the flat cooking surface is smaller. Most of the pot has a shiny, smooth finish, but the top of the handles, the knob, and the bottom of the pot have a rough texture. It almost feels like they're not enameled. This texture provides a slightly better grip, but I don't like the rough bottom because it can scuff delicate surfaces like wood if you slide the pot. This Dutch oven performs fine in cooking tests, but poorly in my controlled experiments. It had the second worst heat retention and the worst moisture retention, and despite the flat lid and self-basting dimples, evaporation runs to the edges and doesn't drip over the middle of the pot. I appreciate the modern look, but I don't like that the handles have small openings that don't provide enough room to wrap your fingers. The Staub 5.5 quart Dutch oven is made in France and comes with a premium price tag of $400, making it the second most expensive brand I tested. While the handle openings are bigger than Caraway's, they have the smallest overall depth and length of all Dutch ovens I tested, and the knob diameter is also the smallest in the group. In my controlled experiments, Staub had the best heat retention score of all brands, and the flat lid and self-basting dimples resulted in excellent moisture distribution. One downside is that the lid knob got extremely hot during testing, with the second highest temperature of all brands. I noticed some minor imperfections in the enamel of the cheaper Dutch ovens that are made in China, but with Staub, the construction quality is outstanding. The enamel finish is flawless, and the whole pot has a truly high-end look and feel, as it should at this price point. I also appreciate the flat lid design, which lets you rest a spoon on top or add ice to make the lid cold and quickly turn steam back into liquid before it can escape. Staub offers 10 different sizes and 15 colors. Only one other brand, which I'll talk about next, offers more colors. The Creuset 5.5 quart signature Dutch oven is made in France, and at $420, it's the most expensive brand I tested. This Dutch oven has thinner walls and is notably lighter than the others, weighing just 11.4 pounds. Along with Misen, Le Creuset handles have the widest openings. Because of that and the lightweight design, it's by far the easiest Dutch oven to pick up, wash, and store. The lid has ridges that prevent a spoon from slipping off, and the knob has a wide top and a thick stem, which makes it easy to grip and control. You can buy this Dutch oven with a steel knob that's oven safe up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, or a plastic knob that's oven safe up to 480 degrees Fahrenheit. In my test, both knobs stayed cooler than most other brands, but the plastic knob barely heated up at all. In my other controlled experiments, the results were mixed. Le Creuset had the third worst heat retention, likely due to the thinner walls, but the lid locked in moisture better than most. Le Creuset has been making Dutch ovens since 1925, and while the price is steep, you get the same flawless enamel quality as Staub, but over 20 color options and a beautiful two-toned gradient that the brand has become known for. Now that you know the pros and cons of the top brands, the question is, which Dutch ovens are worth buying and which should you avoid? If budget is not a concern, I'm buying Le Creuset, Staub, or Misen. I love Le Creuset's color options, lightweight design, and large handles. Staub's flat, self-basting lid is fantastic, and I really like Misen's large knob, big handles, and wide cooking surface. If you're looking for the best value, I recommend the Lodge Essential Enamel Dutch Oven. It has a large knob and handles, a warranty that covers chips and cracks, and a reasonable price. I'm a fan of Lodge's USA enamel collection, but in the $200 to $300 price range, Misen has a more functional knob and performed better in my tests. Tramontina and Great Jones are the two brands at the bottom of my list. Tramontina's handles are too small, and the chipped enamel right out of the box makes me question their quality control. And the Great Jones lid handle is a deal breaker for me. The truth is that all of these brands are made of the same materials and they all cook great. The minor differences in design and performance won't make or break a recipe. So pick the design you like the most that fits your budget. This chart comparing all the key specs should help you decide. Pause the video to read. If you're ready to buy, I've linked to all 9 Dutch ovens in the video description. Those are affiliate links, so I'll earn a commission if you click and buy, but at no extra cost to you. If this was helpful, you need to watch this video where I explain the biggest mistakes people make when buying a Dutch oven. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.